Retiarii. T5 Jav. Do they live up to that name? Do they perform like a T5 Jav should? Or have they been forgotten? Left in the pages of time to gather dust as a T5 Jav. Unacceptable. We're gonna have a look. A few games. And see if the Retiarii can still be used or if it needs a buff. So, these are my Retiarii or Pavarians, depending on what Vextrancy line you take. And I just wanted to do a few games with these and see if they're fitting in the meta, how they're doing, comparison to the other Javs, considering they're a T5 Jav. And I haven't picked them up in ages, so it was a nice little time to have a play around. And so we'll go through the gameplay, we'll have a chat about it, and see what I think, see if they need a buff, see if they're okay. But first, let's look at the doctrines. First doctrine, Retiarii Health Doctrine, 600 health. Probably should have a Breakthrough Doctrine instead of this, but I kind of like having that extra health because these guys are squishy, so damn squishy. And then we've got a Javelin Doctrine 2, 60 piercing damage, 180 piercing pen, just a piercing damage doctrine, 90 piercing damage. Retiarii Assault Doctrine reduces spearfishing's cooldown by 5 seconds. This is really useful actually, because spearfishing is the only way these guys stay alive for me. And then we've got a Javelin Doctrine 3, increased javelin damage by 220 and increased ammo by 20. Moving on to the Vextrancy line, we are looking at top line, bottom line. So we'll start with bottom line. Bottom line, obviously, we've got reduces damage taken during spearfishing. And this is what I'm talking about, why I want to have it on a lower cooldown, because this is basically the only thing that keeps you alive. Does half decent damage, but if you get if something charges you or runs over, I normally click this to try and keep them alive. Bit of speed, reduced damage taken from the rear, range damage reduced, extra health, piercing defense, and slashing defense. So kind of very defensive bottom line, realistically. And then up here we've got some piercing damage, some piercing pen, extra penetration for your jabs by, well, that's 24%. That's pretty nice. More block break, extra ammunition, and reduces Doom Throw cooldown. That I would like this to be more, because the cooldown of your jab throw is way too high for these guys. I know they think they want them to be melee, but it's kind of like it doesn't really work considering their current state. But we'll get into that while we're talking, while we're playing. So let's get into a few games. So we're starting out here. They're going to break the gates, and I'm going for the throws straight out the gates. And yeah, the damage of this is kind of low of the throw, considering we've got Imperial Javs and we've got Jav Sergeants doing incredibly high damage. One throw into there with this unit, I managed to get 1 kill. That means, if we were using Sergeants or Imperial Javs, we would have got a lot more there. They just seem to be a lot more viable. I know I've gone straight in at the deep end with these guys, but it's a unit of 12. It really needs to be buffed. It needs a bigger head count, maybe a 16-man head count or even an 18-man head count, because it's not performing that great with how squishy it is too. But nonetheless, we're sort of bobbing, weaving. We're just trying to get as many jabs out as possible. That is obviously what we want to do. But you can see I'm taking a bit of damage here. It's already half health for all the group, and this is why I had that health doctrine, because it's kind of scary running around these guys, and you want to keep them. And the problem is there's only 12 of them. That means when you lose a few of them, it really hurts you. So you want to try and keep them going for a little while. Their javs also don't seem to be particularly accurate. We're just going to send them back to supply, so we'll just speed through this. Like to keep the game relatively one clip, so we can so we can see what's going on properly. So we're all healed up. We got the ammunition back, and they're pushing in with a bit of cav. We got some shields there. We got some I think some halberdiers up there as well. And we managed to get land a good throw. I mean, we're up to 10 kills now, but the amount of throws we've done, as I said, if we had sergeants or imperial jabs, we would be doing, well, one, be more helpful, but two, be doing a lot more. We're up to 14, again, with that big throw. But, of course, these guys are meant to be slightly melee, so that's kind of the way they've been built. So they do have melee capability, but it's not as good as you would imagine it to be. This is where I pop spearfishing right there. Quite decent at taking out Cav, and we send them in with a trident charge to come in and take that guy out, and we're going to escape and try and keep these till the next bit that's here. Yeah, their melee capabilities are good purely because they pack up so tightly, and they generally just all strike at one target, so they're quite good at killing heroes if there's enough of them about. Problem is, you obviously are risking so heavily chucking them into combat that, yeah, it's like when you've got a hybrid in this game, sometimes it just doesn't always work out. It's like trying to do just sort of extended combat with the Imperial Jabs, let's say. Yes, they have the shield throw, new ability in their mastery, that's great, but if you just press V and let them fight, they're just going to get killed and not do too much, and that's kind of the same thing with these guys. It's like, if you put them in a situation that is got frontline units, they're dead. And I would ideally like to have this unit be more based on the throw, or just extend the amount of head count, or potentially reduce the cooldown of your throws so you can get a few more of them out, because you'll see me running around trying to wait for the cooldown to go up directly in the back of these men-at-arms here, and that's where we pull some good damage straight away. But we got this Cav coming in, and now we're going to spearfish. This is where it does shine. We got a good bit of damage. We've killed that Cav, but that's only Armature Lancers, so it's not really too impressive. And we did lose almost half a stack. And see, at this point, we're now down to such a small amount that our throws are sort of negligible. They do damage, and we land a few kills. But as I said, if we were running, you know, Imperials or Sergeants, I think we would be we'd be doing a little bit. We'd have a few more kills by now, definitely from range anyway. Not sure if the Sergeants would have survived that Cav charge, where these guys obviously did with spearfishing. And here we go back in with spearfishing just to see if we can take this guy out, but I think the Mooshers might have disarmed them. That spells the end for them there, but it's a 46 kill with that unit, so not too bad. And coming up, this clip is kind of what I was talking about with the damage-wise. So this is in the back of shields and Mooshers. We throw, and we get 5 kills. You know, if we did a direct throw with Sergeants there, it would have been a lot of kills. And then obviously we get run over here, and we pop spearfishing, but it is over for them. So, yeah, just, I don't know, maybe a bigger unit, something like that would help. But moving on to the next clip here, we got some Mooshers coming at us. We're going to line them up and throw straight into them. I think we get I don't know, 4 of them, 5 of them. Obviously, I already had about 80 kills. I think I had about 79 beforehand. So yeah, about 4 kills from that throw. Got some peasants here. We get a few hits on them. Get to 85. It's slow going though. You've really got to kind of be patient, roam back and forward, and then just use your sort of melee abilities as and when you can. We get a good shot on these Imperial Spears here, but obviously none of them die. Even from behind, it just didn't kill any of them. I really like this unit. I remember back in the day being so excited for this unit to come out when we were in the Gladiator season, and I got it, and I was kind of disappointed. And, you know, picking them back up again, I am still just slightly disappointed with them. They're just, I would love to have a tier 5 Jav unit that feels like a significant stack, and that throw does something, well, does more than what the tier 4 Javs do. But personally, if you're looking at these guys and you're thinking, oh, I should unlock those, that's tier 5 Jav, you're just going to be better off with your Jav Sergeants or your Imperial Javs, depending on which one you prefer to play. until these guys get a head count increase or something like that. That isn't out of the norm. You know, Reapers have now gone up to 18, so potentially these guys are in line for one eventually. Their jabs can also be kind of weird when they throw. They feel like they want to auto-target things and ignore where you're telling them to go, and sometimes they don't. That's really strange. I don't know why I'm throwing the Imperial Shields now. It sort of feels almost pointless with how little damage I do to them. But yeah, so my advice, if you are new or if you're looking to unlock these guys, just leave them for a little bit. Leave them for a bit. They are fun to play, but they're very micromanagey. You got to go back and forward. Also, Doom Throw does leave a mark on the target that makes them a lot more susceptible to your melee abilities. That sounds great in practice, and it is if you're like kind of 1v1ing and you can get a throw off. But their throw is also quite delayed, so sometimes you can get caught out thinking, right, like I had a fight earlier on in one of the games where they got them wiped instantly, so it's not part of the clips, but some Mushas were coming at me and I threw at them, and the wind up for the throw was so long the Mushas got to me and just wiped me instantly before the throw even went, well, as the throw was going off, so it was basically an insta wipe, unfortunately. So that can happen. That's why I'm not sort of throwing and then going straight into melee combat, but we do get some melee combat coming up. And I will give these guys a thing, they are good at taking out cav, like 1 or 2, 3 at a time, just kind of tickling away someone's cav stack. So we're going to come in here and just wipe the rest of these out with spearfishing. But you see, it's really, I mean, this is Imperial Spears, but it's only like, I don't know, 600-700 damage at a time. But we melted that unit down, so, I mean, the YOLO cav did most of it, but we were there to help mop up. Another throw in here, and that gets us to 100 kills. Granted, we already had 79 of them at the start, but we're ticking away nicely. We're working through this. Going in for the spearfishing, seeing if we can grab any of these. They are quite fast. That's also really nice. When you click spearfishing, trident charge, they really do get a sprint on. But I wouldn't advise personally clicking trident charge that often. Only when there's a hero and no units by. Just click trident charge. They'll quickly kill the hero, and then and then spearfishing for anything where you need them to be tanky or doing a lot more melee damage. So we just roamed up there, killed a hero with longbows, and it wasn't anything too exciting. My unit was too slow to get to me in time. And we're going to try and squeeze them through this gap. I'm kind of worried here because the team's coming in. I didn't want them to kill the rest of my guys. And here's another problem. We're now down to 9 units. That now just doesn't feel good. You know, we're 9 units. Like, you're almost at the point where, you know, you're thinking, do I put this away? I mean, I wouldn't put them away at this point, but we only need to take 2 more losses, and then the unit will kind of feel terrible, even more so than it already does. So that's why I'm kind of advocating that just the head count would be a great change for these guys. Just up to 18, or up to 18, I reckon would be necessary for these guys to come back into being a real solid T5 Jav. But nonetheless, we're getting a little bit of a heal right now, and we're gonna head for the point. We're closing out the game. I was actually pleased at this point because this is one of the furthest I got without losing them. I see these Orochi over here. We're gonna have a little throw at them. In the back, we pick up 2 or 3, and not too bad. For how little you actually pick up, it would also be nice for Doom Throw to be on a lower cooldown. It's 8 seconds, feels pretty long. Maybe 6 seconds would be a better one for these. Again, throw it in, another 2 kills. We're just slowly tickling up kills, getting those Hussars out. Again, nice to see Hussars again. It's been a long time since I've seen those. And another throw into there. Lots of shields about. That's obviously not helping these guys that much. But yeah, and then unfortunately, I think this dual blades over here sees me moving around to try and kill these muskets over there, and moves his halberdiers perfectly in, and that spells the end for my Retiarii. So that's it. I had a lot of fun with these, but they definitely do need a buff, in my opinion. Maybe a head count and a reduction on the cooldown of their javelin throw. I think would definitely help them out. But nonetheless, they were a lot of fun to get that sort of low arced throw in. It just didn't do a huge amount when it did hit. That's, it's one of those things. But if you are rushing to get these for some reason, or if you're new and you're looking at those and you think they're really cool, maybe just leave it for a little bit and get yourself some full mastery Jav Sergeants or full mastery Imperial Javed. And yeah, you'll do 10 times better with those, and they're less leadership. So yeah, would love to see them come up though. They are good fun, a bit like the Assassins actually, in terms of the smaller unit, but I think they also need to become a bigger unit as well. If you enjoy this sort of content, I'd really appreciate the sub. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.